Hello lovelies and welcome to this week's video. I have about 2 years ago made a video on Are You an Empath and how to protect yourself, but I decided with it being a nice weather and all that kind of stuff that I was going to make another video about signs that you're an empath and to kind of help you out to see if you are an empath, and then you can check out in my description box my playlist of other empath videos that include self-care and protection and all that great stuff. I have my notes written in here, so I apologize beforehand if I'm looking a lot at this. And my daughter's talking to. Hi, Checker. Hi. Yeah. Okay. So, empaths are people who have a gift for intuitive insight into the feelings of others. I also will say not just others like as in people, but also the earth and animals and all that great stuff. Like, there are different types of empaths, which I will make a video on. I've been promising that for a while, but I will make a video on the different types of empaths. So you not only understand the feelings like in a sympathetic way, but as the word empath, you empathetically feel it. You fully take it on. And sometimes you don't even know if what you're feeling is your feelings or if it's the feelings of the people that are around you. And so the way that you're behaving or reacting to something, sometimes it might not even be just you. It may just be that's what you took on from the people around you. You also might feel like the physical pain of the other people. And so, like I said, the physical pain, the emotional pain, everything of the earth, people, and animals, and everything in it. When you end up going through a breakup, or you can sometimes sense while you're in a relationship that something ain't right, but it could tend to ignore red flags. Even though we feel and can tell when things are wrong in the beginning of a relationship, throughout the relationship, sometimes we'll ignore it just because we care so much about the other person and we want to give them the benefit of the doubt and we want to help people out. But when the actual breakup happens, we might take it much harder than other people. We might seem histrionic in a sense. We go through a lot of pain through a breakup. You might be very sensitive to the sensory inputs, and you get overstimulated by sight, sound, and smell. You might also be hyperactive. Your nervous system might be overly hyper. So with those type of things, we have to be super careful, because a lot of empaths tend to have central nervous system issues, and that can cause more problems when we are taking on the problems of other people. That's why you'll hear about a lot of empaths having diagnoses such as fibromyalgia or things like that. Crowds make you feel drained. Though sometimes we want to go to a concert, we might want to go out to a fest, we might want to go to the farmer's market, we might want to do whatever. We want to be outside, we get rejuvenated by the earth, but being in a lot of crowds, sometimes it will totally drain us. And in those situations, afterwards, we'll need a lot of time to rejuvenate and might isolate a little bit. And sometimes in crowds, if you're at a party, you might just go in the corner if you don't really know people, and sometimes empaths will have a couple people that they need to have to be with them to feel comfortable. Also, just in general, being in long periods of time socializing, whether it be for work or it be for a student organization or it be for school or anything like that where you have to be around people a lot, sometimes we just need that downtime to rejuvenate and refresh, because we easily get drained if we are not protecting ourselves, which is in one of the videos, which is going to be in the whole playlist thing below in the description. others may get frustrated with us because we're too sensitive. Though a lot of empaths, depending on like their sign or their personality in general, may be very logical and very like to the point in facts, we still get very oversensitive and we get very passionate. And people can get frustrated with that. They might think that we're upset or angry or irritated or have an attitude when we really don't. It's just that we're just so devoted to everything that we put our minds into, right? As for work, if we have the choice of what kind of work we want to do, we get drawn to work with helping people, whether through social justice, nonprofit, counseling, teaching, some form of educating, holistic healing, environmental activism, the arts, all sorts of the arts, whether it be like acting, singing, painting, poetry, all that kind of stuff. People, even strangers, may come up to you just anywhere you are, or your friends tend to come to you with their problems, seeking help, and you'll hear often, and I believe I mentioned this in my video 2 years ago, you'll hear often like, I never felt like I could be this open with somebody before. Like, you are bringing out something in me that I haven't been able to do before. And that can sometimes, in interpersonal relationships, like romantic relationships, cause some problems too, because we do draw in people with mental illnesses or psychic vampires, energy vampires, narcissists, whatever you want to call them, and people that just in general need help. And they may not have shown the dark side or various parts of themselves to people in the past, but because we are so tied to them, connected emotionally, and understand them from like the get-go, they may show their true, like, various sides of themselves, and that may cause them to have some uncomfortability as well. But people tend to come to us. We tend to be that life coach, whether we want to be or not. We might get diagnosed, whether it be misdiagnosed or actually have these things, as bipolar, various anxiety disorders, depressive disorders, PTSD, and things like that. And that is because of our sensitivity. We do get depressed, or it seems like depression. We might get suicidal. We get various extreme emotions because we take on everybody else's, and then we get drained after being around people for long periods of time. So it's kind of up in the air. Like, do we actually have these? Is it because we're an empath? Or because we're an empath, do we get these things? Or do we get these things because we're, like, they're really tied together. So I guess it's really how you look at it. We draw on people, friends, partners that have problems, and again, look past red flags because we just are such big caregivers. We absorb others and Earth's energy. So, and I kind of touched on that before. And by absorbing that, like I said, we take on the traits of other people, and sometimes that can be exhausting. We also take on the energy of the Earth. There are certain empaths that may not be intuitive and absorb and take on other people's energies, but just purely the Earth, like hurricanes and tornadoes that might be happening across the country, will affect them. But for empaths in general, actually absorbing Earth's energy helps us to rejuvenate. So that kind of gets me to my next point. The Earth in nice weather replenishes us. So like, I did make a video on empaths and gardening, like actually going and feeling that dirt, or going for a walk, going by water, going by trees, whichever it is that you're drawn to, will rejuvenate you a lot. Having plants in the house, all that kind of stuff. And I know winter can be very hard on empaths who live in like areas that do get like the cold winters. again, we're connected to animals. Sometimes we can actually, like, in a sense, communicate with them. We can help them. We just feel really good. Like, for me, example, back when I was a teenager, I was walking my dogs. My parents lived out in like 75 acres of trees, right? And a coyote came up and it just sat and let me pet it while I had my freaking dogs with me. My mom does like a feral feline program, and some of the cats that just don't like humans, I will come and get them adjusted to humans, but just by like connecting to them and healing them. So not only do we heal and connect with people, but we can with animals as well. And that goes into our introverted selves. We're introverted most of the time and can isolate. And the isolation tends to happen if we end up getting sucked into way too much drama, or we just have so much energy taken on that we just can't handle anymore. And we just need to just, like, we get stressed easy. And having a pet, having animals really helps us. Bottom line, we're natural healers. That is our main gift. So we're psychic. We can feel what is going on. We know what is going on with somebody, and then we can go and help them heal. We know how to help them heal. And we feel pain too much and can be easily triggered. Now that pain can be ours and or other people's. So if you are an empath who has experienced traumatic events, you take that on a lot. We are more prone to having PTSD. And I think that it kind of goes without saying. We're sensitive to the environment that we're in. So if we're in a very chaotic environment, it's going to really, really affect us and drain us. Whether you believe in feng shui or not, having some form of order really helps you to kind of be able to have that like when you can just have a safe place in your home to just replenish. We can be very charismatic, though most of us are mainly introverted, and that's why I like to say that empaths are ambiverts, because we want to be around people, we help people, we're very good with people, we're charismatic, but because of what we take on, because of how much we feel, we have to be introverted. We kind of have to stay away from the crowd. We observe everything, so it can kind of be back and forth. But when we are social, we are very charismatic and very talkative and very social and very kind and all of that jazz. And we tend to be more on the defense if there is an argument. And that's because we're taking on their energy and we know what's really going on, and because we're very emotional people to begin with and very sensitive, we want to show that we our side, and we get very defensive. We tend not to be really on the offensive side unless we really can sense that something's up. And if you're an empath that's aware of your gifts and accepting of it and are starting to really try to empower yourself and create those boundaries and are at that level, you can get on the offensive and be calling people out like, okay, I know something's up or whatever, things like that. And then we tend to manifest things a lot easier, and we do it without realizing it. And that can be problematic when we are taking on other people's energies, or we are being so absorbed into other people's lives and their drama and their everything there instead of our own wants and desires, and we're disconnected from ourselves, because empaths tend to be more about what's going on with other people instead of our own self. So then when we manifest certain things, it's basically like, we might manifest bad things. Like, it doesn't necessarily always end up being a good thing unless we are aware and in touch. Keep grounded, keep boundaries. And that's why I highly recommend watching some of my other videos in the playlists that are in the description that talk about boundaries and stuff. I also have a separate playlist, but I'm not putting it in here, that is about empaths and relationships, but you can find it on my main channel page. So, that's all I have for today. I hope this was helpful. I love you all. Please check out my shop and my biz. Subscribe if you have not yet. Please like this video and share it with all of your friends if you want to. And have a wonderful weekend. It's beautiful out here in Wisconsin finally. So I will be having a nice week. So love you all and blessed be.